All right. We'll start. We have commenced this webinar, and I'll be taking the by our managing partner. The dear participants, the future has come. The future has come, or another way of saying it is that the future has begun for taxation and tax administration in Nigeria. We are privileged to see it coming several years ago and today, that envisioning has become a reality. It will be an aberration of IT if IT did not creep into our tax system. And certainly, what we are seeing at the moment with the introduction of e-tax and e-compliance management is just the beginning. What must we do together? We should collaborate and work tightly together to avoid mistakes and furnishing the tax authorities with information that will be difficult to retrieve, amend, or correct. We should go slowly into the system and take things in strides. Let's avoid excitement and overzealousness in our actions and responses. It will be good if you check with us before submitting any e-form or inquiry. 3, we want our clients and companies to agree on a tax policy with us to guide our focus and disposition in dealing with their specific tax and compliance matters. We should together bring your tax and other statutory compliance to near 100% as an intentional effort. Avoiding penalties must be prioritized. And finally, we should improve our efforts at meeting tax obligations, commitments, and payment as much as we can strain ourselves to do. Thank you for your time. I wish you a rewarding experience in this tax webinar. Remember, the best way to reduce your tax is to earn less. I know you don't want to. You also want to earn more, pay more, and then put in plans that will make us to have little exposures. Thank you very much. Signed, Dr. Sam Uyemade, our managing partner. Thank you.
That was a wonderful presentation on behalf of our managing partner, Dr. Sam Uyemade. The presentation was held by our practice associate, Mr. Ayola Babalola. And right now, we'll be going into the business of today. Our facilitator, Mr. Charles Asemokai, is the group head for tax compliance and management services here. He will be talking to us on VAT, on tax planning approach for VAT filing. We'll be learning a lot of things on how we can reduce our exposures to the FRS. We'll be learning on the procedures and we need to take, and even the payments, how we need to implement our payments so that we would have a minimal exposure. Right now, we'll be sharing our screen even as we welcome Mr. Charles Asemokai. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Charles Asemokai. I'll be taking you on this section, tax planning approach for VAT, the procedure and payment.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Now, I know some of us we have been hearing of TaxPro Max, TaxPro Max, and some of us are not really aware of what is going on, but some of us, I think, we are into it. Now, the TaxPro Max is by SRS. And it has been on since the late last year, but it was fully made public in June, the first week of June, and people were advised to file returns, especially annual returns, that is FRS annual returns on the system. Now, TaxPro Max enables seamless registration, filing, payments of taxes, automatic credit of withholding tax, as well as other credits to taxpayer account, among other features. Well, not all these are active yet in the system, but this is where the TaxPro Max is going to take us to. You know, at a transaction, all your transaction with the services, you'll be able to see it when you go to what we call the dashboard. You know, and for now, it is all Naira dominated tax returns that have been filed via TaxPro Max in order to generate the obligatory payment reference number. And that you can see it in some literature. You will see DIN. DIN means document identity number. Some will say IR, that is a remitter. So whichever one is still the same thing. So that is what you generate and take to bank as the case may be. Now, taxpayers will not be able to pay without that PRN, that is a payment reference number. As such, taxpayers wanting to submit their returns, tax returns manually, must visit the relevant tax stations. You know, you can't do what we used to do before. You in payments, in submission, you just have to, you know, do it online. But in the case you can't achieve this, you can go to the nearest tax station or the station where your team is domiciled to do that. And taxpayers be advised that, you know, in order not to, you know, fall into pay late penalty, when you have challenges in filing returns, at least 2 weeks to the deadline, you should approach the staff. These taxpayers experience to solve the challenges. And you can also reach them by the email as shown in the screen below. Now, what is new? Previously, we know that we can make payments at the bank without code, without number. But now you can't do such. Now you have to get a code from the TaxPro Max. You generate a code. That's what we call PRN. That is a payment reference number, or DIN, as the case may be, before visiting the bank. You can visit the bank, or you make payment direct online. That is, if you have your card, your Visa card, and all those stuff through InterSwitch, you can make payment straight on. Previously, we complete the form, that is a form 002, and submit at the tax station. We do that before, but now no tax station will collect that from you. Okay, they will ask you to go and submit the form, submit your return on the TaxPro Max, which I believe most of us have been doing. Previously, late return penalty is 50,000 for the first month of default, then 25,000 at the default continues previously. But now, with the introduction of TaxPro Max, there is an automatic late penalty of 50,000 for the first month, and subsequent month you have 25,000 as the default continues. Plus, this we don't know. Now, the system automatically, when you are to pay a certain amount and you have not paid that amount, by the time you are filing late, automatically the system would generate penalty, interest and penalty for that amount. So you have the return filing penalty, then you have interest and penalty on amount you are supposed to have paid before the due date. So you have that as a new thing that we need to watch. So all our clients, all our taxpayers, we are advising that please don't wait till the last day, because the system or the platform might be a challenge. So that is one thing we need to take care of. We should ensure that we don't wait till the last day to file. Then previously, additional assessment paid by visiting the bank. You know, before, if you have late, what's it called? If you have additional assessment like debt review, audit, tax investigations, you know, maybe an additional assessment raised, or a VAT payment on receivables, you know, you can easily go to the bank before and make payment, but now you can't do that anymore. So any additional assessment paid by, you must visit the station first. So that means you must generate the payment reference number before you can make any payment. Okay, now the VAT filing planning approach. Generally, tax planning refers to financial planning for tax efficiency. It aims to reduce our tax liabilities and optimally utilize tax exemptions, rebates, and benefits as much as possible. Tax planning includes making financial and business decisions to minimize the incidence of tax. Now, when you are talking about tax planning, you are, you know, looking at how to minimize your tax in the confines of the law, of the tax laws. You know, make use of the tax laws, as in to ensure that you don't pay excessive tax or you don't fall into penalty. So those are all the things that revolve, you know, tax planning, how you approach your weekly, your monthly, you know, returns, how you file them even from the beginning. All those things all involved in tax planning. Now for the VAT, we are talking about, we'll be looking at items to consider in filing VAT returns, like the VAT exemption, the zero-rated VAT, deduction at source, then input VAT. Now we need to bring this into our records, into our system on a monthly basis, not on an annual basis. Now, on a monthly basis, the exemptions come for that month. What are the zero rated? For instance, when you have exemptions, okay, you have some incomes that are exempted from tax. You could talk about exported service, you know, exported service. You have some income, maybe those in the financial interest income, you know, dividend. All these are exempted from VAT. You know, then the zero rated. These are goods or services that, in actual sense, they're VATable, but because these services or products were sales or rendered to NGOs, diplomats. So that is what we call zero rated. So you have an edge, you have service an NGO within the course of the month, you have to consider that. Then you have the deduction as source. Now, you as a taxpayer, as our client, you made income in that particular month, but that income was to maybe an oil company or oil servicing company. By law, they must have deducted VAT from source. Or you service a government institution, for instance, Lagos State, or even the federal government, they will deduct VAT from source from you, okay? Then input VAT, these are, from your purchases. Now the purchases that you use, in deriving your income. So these are the things that we need to start taking note of from the beginning, from the very month you are filing VAT. Okay, so before I go into the practical section, for those of us who are not used with the TaxPro Max, we'll just do a little demonstration. But I want to stand on the assumption that that the VAT rate is 7.5%. Okay, the VAT rate is 7.5%. Then the filing of returns should be done on or before the 21st of every month. That's a cutoff date. So anytime from 21st, you have entered penalty. Now that we can file online, you can sit down at home, can do it from home, can do it in the night. So there's no excuse for us not to file the VAT from the previous month in the following month before 21st. I will advise as our clients that we can have 10th as our cutoff date for filing VAT. 10th as our cutoff date. Now, when you go through the website of the TaxPro Max, it will take you to the login page. Then you click login button in blue. You insert your email, then the password. I believe most of us will have the password to log in on our TaxPro Max. Okay, now this is how it looks like. Now, when you want to file returns, you go to this first one that shows taxes dues. Taxes due. This place will show you whether you have a stand. You can see it show you one. That means there's something there. It will show you whether you have an outstanding that you have not done. Now, for VAT filing, it comes up every new month. For instance, for those of us who have complied for the filing of July VAT, you will not see this on your platform, okay? You won't see this on your platform. But for those of us who have not done so, you will still see this pending on your platform. You can even do a practical demo if you can search the platform so that anytime you have outstanding at a go, you will see it. Okay, so you go towards your right hand side. If you want to file, like for instance, this is a VAT for last month, which is still pending on this place. So if you want to file, you say process, go through process, you click on process. Sorry, the entry to the platform is slow this morning. Okay, so you start from now goods and services is exempted. Now this is where you will put the value of the goods or services for that particular month that is exempted from VAT. You understand? If you check our VAT schedule 2 or 3, you will see the goods that are exempted. Like I said, for those in the financial sector, interest income, dividend, you know, those services, exported services, you know, they're all exempted. Now, you click on the currency, that is returning currency, that is a Naira. That's the first thing to do. Then, if you have goods exempted, for instance, let me say we have exempt, I have an exported service for that month, you know, call the name, I'll say cashew nut. Cashew nut was is exempted, you know, from VAT. Then the amount, let's say for instance, 300,000. Okay, then you add that value. Now this is cashew nut that was exempted for that period. And when you add record, then you go to proceed. Ensure you add before proceeding. Okay, he's asking me to click on the Naira returning currency. You add and proceed. Okay, it takes you to zero rated. For instance, if you have services that you render to an NGO, you put it there. If not, you just allow it go. Just put 0 amount and you move on. And it's for that period, for that month, there is no 0 rated services or goods. Okay. Then you proceed. Now, this is very key. I think we should try and pay attention to this place. Now, when you come to this sales adjustments, we find out that the laws, the VAT Act as says that that VAT going forward will be cash basis. But this place is an adjustment to help us, you know, key in those services or income for the month for which payments have not been received. For which payments have not been received. So in this place, you have a sales adjustment. Now, for instance, you can say sales, the thing of the customer, that is, you have to provide you know, and the dates. Let's use July 6. Okay. Then invoice number, invoice amount. For instance, if you make a sales that VAT or payment has not been received for that month. For instance, you have 400,000 of sales or income that was made and VAT was not paid. So that means nothing was paid. As in, you have not paid. So you have that 400,000 out of the 400,000. Okay, you have record. So nothing has been paid on that 400,000. You proceed. As long as you have not submitted, you can always go back to adjust whatever thing you want to adjust or replace or remove. For instance, if I want to go back to this system, this sales adjustment, I'll say remove. I'll remove what I've imputed so that I'll go all over again for this sales adjustments. You see remove on your right, your far right. So click on that button. It will take you back as if you never added any, you never inputted any figure or detail or data. So I'll go back to sales adjustment. So for instance, you have sales that money or cash have not been received. This is the place we can adjust it so that we will have, you must have a proper reporting of your total income for the month. So in this case, you have sales that you have not received payment for, okay? Now they are asking for a particular customer details, which you will submit. If it's more than one, you have to input, to just keep on adding the record, you know, to ensure that that place is taken care of. Now, let's go back to July, because we are assuming that we are filing for the month of July. Go back to July, then the invoice number, you put the invoice number, then the amount. For instance, if you have total sales to that particular customer, just one transaction, and it's 400,000, you put it there. Now, I'm saying that if the customer have not paid you the full 400,000, that means you place 400,000 here. If the man has not paid you the whole 400,000, but if the person have paid, or if the customer has paid a part of it, then you can adjust by saying he has paid 200,000 out of the 400,000. So you add. When you add, then you proceed. Okay, this will take you to a typical VAT form, that is form 002. It will take you to form 002, the typical VAT form. Okay, so you are there now. This is a typical VAT form that we used to have. It's just an advanced form 002. Now, this place you have total sales for the month. So your total sales, for instance, if you have total sales for the month of 1 million, so you put 1 million there. And ensure you don't put comma, just put 1 million, just input the 1 million without comma, okay? Now, you have what we did. If you remember, goods exempted, we use 300,000 as goods exempted for VAT. So look at it here. That 300 has flown here. Then remember our adjustment. We made an adjustment. We said that for that particular customer, we have a transaction of 400,000. However, the customer has paid only 200,000 from the transaction. So you have 200,000 that the customer has paid, which VAT will be required. So now you have exempted and this adjustment, that's 500,000. Now the sales for which the government, FRA, is expecting you to pay VAT on as at the time you are filing these returns is on this 500,000, which is this amount. Automatically, it will generate that amount for you, okay? Then if you have input VAT for those of us who are into maybe construction or manufacturing, the input VAT comes here, okay? For instance, if you have input VAT of 100,000, input VAT transaction, a purchase of that brought input VAT. So you can just put the purchase now, you have the 100,000. Okay. Now, you have the purchase, the VAT, the input VAT on that purchase, automatically it has generated 7,500 for you. Now, you go down. If you have VAT that was withheld as such, if you have worked with federal government or rendered service to federal government, state government, oil companies, you have VAT as source. Then you come to this line, okay? If you have, you put it there. You can say, okay, the transaction, VAT as source. Whatever VAT has been withheld, not the total sales now. For instance, if they have withheld 2,000 from you, you invoice the customer and the customer was supposed to pay you plus your amount VAT of 2,000, but it has withheld it because of the provision of the law. You just put that amount there, 2,000. That is what the customer has withheld. In this case, it's not the transaction amount, it's the VAT that is withheld. So that is what you put in this 190, okay? So when you go down, you see that automatically when you click, it has adjusted for the VAT you are paying to the government. Now, please, this is where we need to be very careful. Before you submit this form, when you click this declaration, it will bring out a button up, okay? It will bring out a button up. I don't want to submit this because you click this button here, okay? It will bring something up that will show you, look at, you're asking you, do you want to pay this? Click this amount. So if you are so sure that that is the amount, you click OK. But if not, that means you have to revert. So before you click submit or click this OK, ensure that what you have inputted is correct. Now that will take, once you submit, it will take you to the payment gateway. Okay, once you click submit. So I won't continue from there so that because this is just a demo, so that we won't find ourselves FIS will be asking this client to come and pay this money. So this is where how you fill the VAT form and you submit. Okay, then it goes from there. We go to So from there, we go to the payment platform. So the steps I explained, you can see them on the slide. We'll send you this slide just to guide you in finding your VAT. Okay. Then now the payment platform, very easy. Now once you submit, it will take you to the payment platform and it will show you the amount. Please note that once you pass that submit, it will be difficult to come back. That is, you are ready to pay that money. It will just go straight to your dashboard. Okay, so be very ensure you take care, due care before you pass that submission. Once you are sure that is what you want to pay, before you submit, you click on submit. Now, by the time you use the payment platform, you either go through online payments, but the system will generate the payment code for you to either pay online or you print that payment page and take it to the bank. So the payment page will generate that payment reference code for you, as you can see on the screen. So that is what you will take to the bank. But if not, when you click pay online, you know, you can also, you know, using your card to pay using the payment reference number. Okay, so if you click pay online, it will take you to the gateway as seen. Then you click submit. This is just the process you follow when you are paying online. But if you click pay, click print, that means it's to print the payment reference for you. That is either the DIN, as the case may be, or PRN. It's still the same thing. So you take this to the bank. This is what it will bring out as shown on the screen. Okay, so you go forward to pay in the bank. So we move to back duty additional assessment. Now, back duty additional assessment arises from additional liabilities such as debt review, tax audit, tax investigation, and VAT on receivable payment cannot be done except you visit the tax station. Now, before we can go to the bank when we want to pay maybe an additional liability from audits, which is a very typical example that we are all used to. Or you want to pay VAT on money that is received, but for the previous year, you know, that is maybe unreceivable, because most of us, you know, doing business in Nigeria, it's only a few companies that can say, oh, that they will not. I don't think there will be a company that will have receivable entry the. But if you want to pay VAT based year, you need to go to the station. You can't just sit on your desk and do it. And don't file it as if you are filing for the current month or the current year. Please ensure the period is clearly communicated to the FRS official generating the PRN. That is, when you visit the station, let them know that that money that you want to pay, that amount you want to pay is on receivables. It's on receivables for the previous or previous year. You know, payment or receivables should be clearly stated, and ensure you inform the FRS people, because if you just give them, I said, you want to make payment on previous year, they can just do it in the way that it becomes issue for you, okay, to generate that penalty. But if you make them know that you are just receiving that amount now, but for a previous year, they will know what to do so that it will not attract VAT. Okay. Now, on the monthly strategy, this is very important to all of us, you know, as our client. Now, you know, VAT is on cash basis. That means we need to keep proper record, follow up with inflow and payments to determine the VAT payable for that month. For that month, you know, records. We have to keep proper records, like a table, you know, seeing the movements, a table that will show you what is due, what is outstanding, who you are expecting money from or receivable, so that you know how to impute it. So I advise that you keep a table for this purpose, a table that will guide your VAT remittance on a monthly basis. Then I have a record of VAT cumulative compliance vis-a-vis total receipt as a date. That's what I've just said. A table that will guide you from month to month as we move on. And keep monthly inputs VAT schedule and evidences as claimed. Now, for our clients, if you want to claim, or if you are claiming inputs, ensure that you have built that in your monthly returns, not annually anymore. Because when you are closing for the year, you can't just bring in all the inputs. So now that's why we talk about tax policy, that we need to agree on the policy. That was our managing partner advice in the first opening address. Please, we need to build that in on a monthly basis, not on an annual basis. Okay, maintain physical record of the VAT concluded assessment for ease accessibility. This is a platform. Most of you agree with me that in the previous platform of FRS, we all have withholding credits. But this new one, by the time this new one came, we can't even access that withholding credit anymore because that platform was closed. So I would advise that even as we are filing online, we should ensure that we print out that form. There's a way you can screenshot, you can print even from I'll show you the dashboard where you can go to see all your concluded assessment. You will print it out. Still keep a physical file. That is our advice. Maintain a physical file. That will help us a great deal. Okay. So questions, case study, we'll do that after the second section. And thank you for listening.
Thank you once again, everybody. Mr. Charles, that was a wonderful session. We really learned a lot of things. I believe that now we understand what we mean by zero-rated VAT, what we mean when we say a good or service is VAT exempt, and so many other things. We have learned a lot about the filing procedures and the process also. We have learned that even with the TaxPro Max, our visits to the bank will be and to the tax stations will be greatly reduced. We can do so many things even from the of our homes, even from our phones too. Mr. Charles would like to show us the dashboard even before we proceed.
Okay, let's go to home. Let me show you the dashboard where you can see all your concluded assessments. So you can go there and print and keep. Ensure you keep all your concluded assessments. See, you will come to this place, concluded assessments. Okay. If you have any assessment that has been done, you can get it from this place. Any filing that you have done, it will come to this place. Okay, this is a new company, so you might not see, we might not see anything there yet. Okay, we have something. Okay, we have a CIT that has been filed. We have VAT. So you can just click, for instance, this CIT, click on view. When you click on view, okay, so you can see a form. This is how it is. You can print this. The same thing for VAT. This is CIT, the same thing for VAT. For instance, for CIT that we have filed for most of our companies, those some FRS station asks us to file a physical copy. So a copy of this and your financials was filed with FRS. Okay, if it's for the VAT, let me show you the VAT so that we can move on. Now the VAT form, that form, if I have clicked submit, immediately I click submit, it will come here. So you see everything on the platform. So we are saying that ensure you print this out, physical copy, have a file for it, because we don't know what will happen tomorrow, you know? So we can have every of our concluded assessment in a separate place. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Charles. Now we'll be moving on to the other part of the training, which has to do with the withholding tax filing procedures and tax planning under the withholding taxes filing. We'll be calling on our practice associate, Mr. Ayola Babalola, to take us on this. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I believe we are having a wonderful time with this webinar, and to take from what Charles just concluded with us, it is important that we keep physical, some kind of physical documentation, because this is Nigeria. Anything can happen, a new government can come and they change the platform again. So it is very important. It is very, very important. So I will go to the next next presentation. This will not take much time because the coding taxes is not so, it's not a different type of tax as it were. So it's not something that has so much complications as we have with VAT. So we won't have much issues, much complications VAT with the withholding taxes. So I'll just go straight. Some part of this that I will just keep through because of our time so that we can attend to some of the questions and the case studies. Some of the questions that people have raised already, we'll do our best to attend to it, because that is the main purpose of this training, so that we can attend to questions as much as possible. So as we know, CIT is just company income tax collected in advance, and it's all companies that are registered and incorporated under the CAMA 2020 by the LFN law, CITA 2007 and Finance Act 2020, agent of FRS or SRS to collect withholding WHT from business enterprise. The FRS TaxPro Max is not a new law, but just an electronic process of tax administration and collection. As such, it did not introduce any new thing to the existing requirements in dealing with withholding, deduction, and filing. However, understanding the filing procedure on TaxPro Max is very important to ensure ease of compliance and avoidance of errors that may lead to penalty. I just want to look at some few terms. What are some of those terms? TaxPro Max, that is very clear to all of us. The login details, I think Mr. Charles also mentioned about the login details. So I believe we should understand what the login details is, the username and the password required to log into the TaxPro Max. For those, if you don't have your login details yet, then you have to do something about it. You don't have your login details yet, you have to apply, you have to fill the form and send it to the tax station. And then once they register you on the TaxPro Max, automatically you get the username and the password sent to your sent to your so it is generated automatically from the TaxPro Max team from FRS. Withholding schedule. This is the list of vendor or client for which withholding deduction is to be withholding schedule. Even before the TaxPro Max, whenever we want to make any payment, we are always draw up a withholding schedule that we take to the bank. So we should have a withholding schedule, which must have the vendor's name, the TIN, the TIN, the transaction amount, and then the withholding amount. So this is very important. This is very important that we know. So then we also have what we call a sample template. This is on TaxPro Max. TaxPro Max also have provided a sample template for uploading on the TaxPro Max. You cannot upload your normal Excel on TaxPro Max. You have to make use of their templates. Okay, so we'll go through the filing process on TaxPro Max now. We have it on this slide, and but I will just run through. I'll try to run through the presentation on. I'll try to run through the presentation on the TaxPro Max so that we can just flow through it. However, we have it on this slide, and we can go through it also on the slide.